I thought a couple logos were nice.
Yeah.
And the variation, you can tell evidently which one that person liked because they did the most variations on it. But the fonts look like they could use some more work. But the circle to the on-off logo was nice, and the variations on that were nice. And what was the other one that was?
He didn't like the cursor because it looked like the Weyerhaeuser tree.
Yeah.
And the pixelated one, they needed to
Yes, it
the
was sort of
skew
the
was off.
The other logo's nice too, maybe they ran the variations on it. Power. They had the power, and then what was there?
Yeah.
Oh, the USB. I thought that was cute. You know, the dripping paint. Yeah, doing that.
It was a nice merging of
Yeah, it
the
was nice.
traditional and the
Yeah, see, this is all done by someone who actually has interest in Artbytes, and he just comes and he's had no direction. The typefaces aren't even a part of the museum's branding yet. There's no colors that they've chosen, so I mean it's completely skunkworks. And simply to help us we've had a lot of interest in this, but we've got to get the museum to promote and get behind it, and so it's kind of in the spirit of Artbytes to begin with, to sort of create these logos and create stuff on our own and get it into the artist community. So
what is the DMA font? That might be nice to implement with that logo, kind of merge the two.
That's sort of, I think, our next step is to kind of take what he's started with and then merge it with some of our branding to see. We've got a font called Fedra that we work with.
I think that's what it didn't do for me. It was just the font. It just seemed like too simple. I think
he
Artbytes
I mean, all he did was just throw a couple of fonts out there. So
kind of
it's more or less looking at the visuals and trying to see, you know, does he like the cursor? Does he like the mouse? Do people understand it? Does he like the pixel stuff? Do they understand it, etc.? So that was the exploration. So.
Well, I just wanted to welcome everyone to Artbytes. We've been doing this for
6 months now.
It's longer than that. It's 8 months,
8 months.
I believe.
Is it really?
You've been doing it since October.
Yeah. And it's the birthday month for the Center for Creative Connections. We opened 1 year ago in May, and in the past year we've had 165,000 visitors actually visit this new space, and it's kind of it's a very unique environment. There are no museums across the country that have this kind of multi-generational learning space. You're in the midst of the tech lab, and that's a really new thing for the Dallas Museum of Art as well. We've done a lot of piloting of projects and experimenting with art and technology in different ways. Before I came to Artbytes, I was actually on a tour in the galleries that was about sound designs that have been created through technology by university students in response to works of art in our galleries. And those will be available to visitors this summer on mobile devices, which is another new thing for the museum in terms of interpretive devices. So I wanted to mention the birthday, welcome you, thank you for coming. Artbytes is actually one of our most successful Tech Lab programs as we're kind of venturing into the arts and technology area. And if there are ever ideas that you have, I'm always around at the end of programs about ways to merge art and technology. There are workshops that happen in this space. There are open lab drop-ins where it's just kind of a casual, informal, hands-on type session. And we're open to all sorts of things. This is also something that we want to consider in terms of kind of an extension of the galleries or a venue space to show different pieces, similar to what we're doing at Artbytes. So.
They can come in.
Yeah, and I will turn it over to you and welcome.
They're all looking like they can't come in.
People.
Okay, so for tonight, what we've done is we've got 3 people. We're kind of in the past we've looked at video, we've looked at comic book art, we've looked at some sound, we've done some 2D illustrations and whatnot. So the idea is that we bring artists together and we discuss with them and learn from them how they're using digital technologies as a way to create their art. And what I've been noticing recently, and I teach over at UTD, and I've got some students and a doctoral candidate here to show us some of their work. And what I've noticed in the last year or so is that artists are beginning to go beyond websites, okay, as solutions, because they want to be able to promote their work, they want people to see their work, they want people to interact with their work. And so I've seen 3 presentations recently where the artists are beginning to go beyond what I consider to be standard websites and forums, okay? And what's important about this is that they're inventing their own solutions. They're inventing their own answers, right? They're beginning to do things, take things in their own hands. And it's not unlike, if you guys are familiar with Twitter and Facebook and those social networking kind of things. They're adding these components to their solutions and beginning to create communities not only of artists, but of people who are interested in art and people who want to buy art, etc., and helping them on the business front and helping them in school and helping them in critiques to get jobs. And so tonight I wanted to show a little bit of what people are doing and hopefully get some feedback and some ideas from others, whether they like, dislike some of the stuff that they're working on. And then if anybody happens to be a really good programmer, everybody needs programming help, so speak up loudly, right? We'll start off with Tommy tonight, Tommy Wright. He's a almost graduating senior at UTD, studying arts and technology, and you also started off in engineering? Physics? Physics. I dropped a while ago. Each one of these all have a nice mixture of art and, or two out of the three, I guess. I don't know if Scott is into on the technology side as far as programming, but you guys all have some background in this, and you're merging the two. Tommy started off with something called, he originally called it Art Share, and as he's beginning to work on this, he's now calling it Art Lob. Okay, and you can explain a little bit of where you're coming from and why you've chosen to do what you've done. Okay?
Well, I approached the project first because I was looking at what was available on the market right now, which we have Deviant, you have CG Society, you have Concept Art. And these each meet different needs for people who are trying to display their art. And to get advice sometimes, collaborate.
Up?
Yeah, can you speak up a
Oh,
little
speak
bit?
up, and actually if you turn, go that way, and if you need somebody to help
Yeah.
drive.
So all of these sites are sharing with other people, but there's something that I feel like is really missing, and it's that each of these sites, none of them actually meets the need of letting people really critique other people's art inside their existing social networks. They're always going outside. They go, Deviant is sort of a worldwide thing. When you put something on there, it broadcasts it to everyone. And also the critique, there's not really a whole lot of that going on there. You have CG Society. Their forum system has some critique. They have some good insights, but it's going to the world when you're doing it. It's better if you want to throw your portfolio up. You can talk in forums, but it's a forum-based system. You have Concept Art, does the same thing, where it's a forum-based system. They have great critiques here. The problem is all these people are professionals, and you have to be really, really good to be able to get into this and be able to actually do a whole lot, because you can throw stuff up, but you don't want to be murdered in the forum. So.
Well, give them the reason that these sites are important. When I worked in product design and development, I went through critiques for budding designers and illustrators, etc. And even for the young folks that are here, when you start building your portfolios, they start showing portfolios as early as when they're in high school. And they start building the portfolios and they become incredibly important. But along the way, there's not a lot of help. Not many people, they end up calling professors or they call teachers and say, hey, could you give us a quick look at this portfolio, help us out. The Industrial Design Society has a thing on a Saturday when they're at big conventions and they bring people in, and that's all they do the entire Saturday is review portfolios. And so I think what's important about this is that these things here allow artists to put their work up at the global level, but budding artists, artists who are in school, people who want feedback, don't always participate in here, or they get lost, or they, as Tommy said, they might get murdered for putting something up there that somebody doesn't like. And so he's looking for a way to be able to put his work up there, but instead of throwing it out to the world, he's also using his social network in hopes of getting better feedback. So that's the importance of what you're doing here, is because we all need portfolios, we need criticism as we go along, so by the time we're ready to go for jobs, our elevator speech and everything that